Thank you, and we're back with Investing Insights with Barry Burnett. I'm your host, Barry Burnett, and we are in the middle of really important content for you, the entrepreneurial investor, and here's why. The aha moments that we're getting from Mike Meena, the president of Augusta Financial, and Aaron DesMarais, the senior loan officer for Augusta Financial. The takeaways that you're getting as an entrepreneurial investor is be careful to prepare now for your future. It's happening today, and anything you buy now becomes real value for your future and really establishes a solid base. Now, Mike, the interest rates are at almost historic lows. They're not the lowest they've ever been, but they're very close to it. I spent out of my 41-year career over 28 years with double-digit interest rates, and people still made incredible fortunes. Isn't that right?
Yeah, no, and interest rates are definitely very low. And when we jumped out of the threes and into the fours, people were going, oh my gosh, rates are so high. You look at this, and I think we've spent maybe 51 months under 4.5% in the last 50 plus years.
So, Aaron, when we're talking about buyers in the marketplace and they're getting these extraordinarily low interest rates, what about pricing? You had a really brilliant aha time.
Well, I wanted to point out, Barry, because this is really important to a potential investor, because I know it's pretty frightening about taking on real estate for some people. What I wanted to point out is if you take as an example, the 2008 real estate melted down. A lot of us lost a lot of equity in our properties. But if you take any 10-year history in California real estate, whether you bought a house at the peak of the market, at the bottom of the market, in the middle of the market, if you take a 10-year history of any time in California real estate history, you made money on that property. So if you hold on to a property, the statistics show that you are going to make money on that property.
Well, it's statistically true. It's also empirically true. I've seen it, felt it, and tasted it and touched it in my real estate investing personally, and also with the over 4,000 transactions I've closed in my 41 years. Here's what happens. Somebody buys a property, they hold it, they think, oh, my equity's gone down hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, no, not so much. If you don't sell it, you don't book the loss.
Well, the properties that I owned, I admit, I got a little bit upset in 2008, 2009, 2010.
I heard you. You sounded off.
I was upset about the loss of equity, but I held on to those properties, and guess what? They're back.
Okay, listeners.
And
he says he was upset. He wasn't upset. He was furious. This is a guy who's a consummate professional, and he was furious about the reduction of equities. But yes, they came back, right?
I held on to them, and all my properties have improved their equity positions. I have 2 of them paid off now over the years because of my tenants paying off my mortgages.
God bless them.
And yes, I have definitely recouped the losses that I had in 2008. These are all paper losses because I never sold anything.
Right. And if you don't, it's called wealth.
Exactly.
Barry, I'd love to touch on, some people had foreclosures or short sales in the past. And you know what? There's some guidelines now that, 1 day out of foreclosure, 1 day out of short sale, we're seeing loans like that come back into the marketplace. So even those of you listeners, you great people, that had some financial troubles, call us.
You
Let
mean
us
stuff
know.
like life?
Yeah, like life got in the way of financial planning or whatever it is. It's still a great time to buy. It's a great time to start buying. Buy your first house, buy an investment property, whatever it's going to take. But there's programs out there for just about everybody nowadays. So
somebody's taken a ding, and there are ways to get back into the market now, today, not waiting for another year for things to shake out?
Right. I wouldn't wait to pay 10% more because it seems like the market's moving 10% a year the last few years.
Well, plus, I'm sorry, like Mike had said previously, though, there's only a finite amount of land, okay? So you better get in on it.
Yeah, God's not making any more of it.
It's only going to get more expensive.
Yeah, when I started in the real estate business 41 years ago, the California Association of Realtors had an ancient name, but their motto was, under all is the land. Well, yeah, if you don't own any piece of it, well, you don't have any future in it either.
It's crazy. I mean, you look at beach properties, how they've gone up, just absolutely incredible how they go up. Why? Because there's only so much land by the beach. Well, there's only so much land on one side of the hill. There's only so much land on the other side of the hill. Yeah, we're going to further and further places, but those don't seem to be right at $4 a gallon and a 70-mile commute. into your job. So you've got to figure out what you want to do. And you're right. It's tough to find more land wherever we go.
Now, it is crazy. A lot of people moved to Palmcaster in order to get a spectacular house, right?
Right.
Now, I know I'm going to hear words from that because the mayors of Lancaster and Palmdale will give me grief over calling it Palmcaster. It has been for me for years. But the reality is, regardless of the bullet train, which frankly does not exist, you are talking about leaving before the sun comes up, coming home long after the sun has gone down. Is that really a lifestyle decision? You buy a fabulous house you never see?
No, that's not quality of life. You know what? And, I think about what I grew up in, and we grew up in maybe a modest 1,700 square foot home. Neighbors had 1,100 square foot homes. We don't need 3,500 square feet. What we need to do is put our family in a place where our rents are not going to go up, where our mortgage is going to stay the same, and eventually it gets paid off. Same kind of thing goes for buying investment properties. Do we need to live in the 4,000 square foot house now? No, we don't. We need to live in a place that's comfortable for our family, where they're safe, and then we go ahead and we take the extra money and we put that into other properties so we can make sure that we have a good retirement.
So do you want to show off an elegant front door with a big giant facade and be bankrupt inside the door? Or do you want to have a modest house and a guaranteed future?
Yeah, that's probably the way to go. The modest house and the guaranteed future. It's the tortoise and the hare story. It's
and if you've invested brilliantly and you've made a lot of money and you want that 4,000, 6,000, 10,000 square foot house, God bless you, go for it.
Yes.
But you should have other things protecting your assets, and leverage is a great way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, but don't put all your eggs in one basket, and don't continue to leverage. At one point, we got to sit back and say, okay, enough is enough. We're good now. We're safe. Let's move forward. Let's enjoy our life.
Pay down, pay off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not right now. I mean, in the growth cycle, you've got to be
get to
ready
the growth
to grow.
cycle.
Okay.
37% of the people are going to be broke when they retire. Yeah, those people, they need to do something now.
Yeah, and a lot of those people aren't broke right now, but they're going to be.
Right.
And like the gentleman you were talking about who had $250,000, who's blinking real fast saying, oh, whoa, I don't have that money anymore.
Exactly.
I mean, it goes real fast.
And he's 70 years old and won't be able to have an income now. So
God
that person
forbid.
is misplanned.
And what happens if he has any health problem of any kind?
Yeah.
Then that's very sad. So what are our aha moments out of this? You can buy, you can leverage, you can pay off, let the tenants pay off. There are a lot of options, and Augusta Financial can get you into properties through their direct lending source. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And we're quick, we're fast, we're going to be helpful. Just be prepared for a few pieces of paper coming both ways.
Well, Aaron, I love you dearly and always have, but you are a mother hen who just sits and roosts on these files. You sometimes make people a little bit frustrated because you don't let the file fail. And I really admire that about you.
Well, when we're hired, I'm speaking of our whole company, when we're hired by a potential client to get a home loan, they're going to get every bit of our power and our resources to accomplish that goal. The lending business, it's a little bit choppy still, so you're going to have an expert, you're going to have somebody that's gung-ho, and you're going to have somebody that doesn't give up.
Which is a real blessing on why at Investing Insights with Barry Burnett, we have Augusta Financial, AugustaFinancial.com, and can be reached at barryburnett.net. barryburnett.net. We thank you very much for listening. We're grateful for your presence on the show, and our other experts are reachable at barryburnett.net every Saturday night here on Talk Radio 790 KABC, Saturday 8 to 9 p.m. Thank you for listening.